Hi, Gene. Thank you for doing this for me. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to ask you a few questions based on your career, and it should only take like 10 minutes or so. Okay? All right. What is your current job title / position, and how long have you been in this role?
Current title is Engineer Reliability Centered Maintenance, and I've been in this role for 2 years. And yeah, that's it. I'm the only engineer in this department. It's a very small department. It's only 6 people.
Oh, okay. How did you land this position? What did you do in order to secure your spot in this current position?
Well, I started off here at Universal in the engineering department, but my background was in continuous improvement and process engineering. And so when I saw the job description for this job, and I saw that the preference was someone with a Six Sigma background, and I have what they call a green belt in Six Sigma.
Okay.
I came over, I talked to the hiring manager, gave him my resume, and we hit it off, and he thought I would be a good fit because of that.
Now what is
experience I have.
You said Six Sigma?
Six Sigma. It refers to the number, like the statistical standard deviation of having, it refers to the number of defects per million opportunities.
Okay.
And so Six Sigma is like, I don't know, 99.99969, something like that. Accuracy, or,
Is that like a training that you
yes.
that you went through,
Mhm.
and like you like a certificate?
Yeah. So in
Okay.
my last job, they trained me by giving me initial training at their headquarters, and then they helped me specify a project that I was going to do to reduce defects
Okay.
in the process that I was looking at. And then I had to use certain tools, certain Six Sigma tools, prove that I understood the concepts. I had to use those in my project, and then I had to save the company actually over a certain amount of money in my project
Mm-hmm.
in order to get my certification. And then at the end I had to present my project, and then if it was approved, then I got my certification.
Wow. Okay. What do you enjoy most about your job?
I enjoy most working with teams, helping people understand change, why we're changing the way we're doing things from reactive to preventative. And I guess the thing I enjoy the most is when they get it, and they understand that, and they're willing to work as a team toward that goal and achieving those goals.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that working with you. So.
Thanks.
This question: do you work in a team or independent environment?
I'm supposed to work on a team. I work independently a lot.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
So the teamwork here, the culture here is not really conducive to teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
We set it up so that there's a lot of us and them.
Right.
And I'd like to see that change. I would like there to be more unity amongst the different groups within technical services.
Mm-hmm.
And so I work hard to try to get that to change, and it's pushing a boulder uphill sometimes.
Right.
So
Yeah, I can definitely see that as well. Even in our own department, I see that a lot. So.
Yeah.
How does this style impact your working? Meaning, working with others can be challenging, supportive, helpful, frustrating, or working independently can be lonely, empowering, or difficult.
Mm-hmm. It depends on your personality, I think. Like I took one of those, I don't know, I've taken a bunch of those personality type tests,
Mm-hmm.
and the
That's what
results
this is
for
for.
me.
This is for a class where we do that.
Is it? Okay. The results for me are always that you prefer working with a team, and I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm energized by working with other people.
Right.
So, I would prefer working with other people than
Mm-hmm.
on my own.
Yeah.
I like bouncing ideas off of people, off of each other, and
Mm-hmm.
getting everyone's perspective on something, because if I feel like if I move forward in a vacuum, then the users of my process or my design are going to find faults with it because I didn't communicate with them and find out what exactly they need and what they like, and so it's probably gonna, you know, my project is gonna tank.
What do you like least about your job?
The lack of unity. The lack of unity. That's a struggle. That comes from the top, and so sometimes it feels like there's not really much I can do about that because there seems to be, you know, closed doors to the people at the top. You know, you're told in the company training that there's, you know, open door policy. You can talk to anybody. You can talk to any manager. But then, you know, people get mad because you told somebody one thing and didn't tell your direct manager or something like that. So I try to funnel everything up through my direct manager, but I don't think he tells, you know, our upper management, you know, my opinions, which I have to trust that he knows what he's doing. And so, but the lack of unity, you know, like, and it's coming around. They're coming around. You know, I used to be the only one saying, why didn't we catch that part about to fail in the nightly inspection? And now I hear other managers and senior managers asking those questions. So, but it still feels kind of like if we had more unity, we would be able to get a lot more done. Unity of purpose, like, okay, this is our goal. Let's move toward that goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your major in college?
Mechanical engineering.
That's it? No minors or anything like that? And where did you go?
University of Miami.
University of Miami. In Florida. Okay. Because there's University of Miami, Ohio. Yeah. So, just want to make sure. So the Canes, huh?
Yeah.
And you got a 4-year, just a bachelor's? You don't have a master's in anything? Okay. Describe your career path that led you to this current job. I know you kind of did that a little bit with talking about the Six Sigma and things like that, but kind of, I don't want you, I mean, you don't need to explain everything that you've done, but maybe from the time you graduated college, kind of the big stepping stones that you had in order to get here.
Well, before I even went to college, I was looking for scholarships in high school, and I found a job on their list with NASA. It was a fellowship, federal junior fellowship. And I applied for it and I got it. So before I even went to college, I went to work for NASA. And then that kind of set in motion, you know, once you have an opportunity like that,
that's a big,
you're just like, why would I change?
Right.
So even though there were definitely times in college where I thought, I don't really like this, I just kept going.
Yeah.
I just kept going with it. And what I learned at NASA really reinforced what I was learning in school, you know, because I got to see, oh, I'm going to need this, and then other stuff, I'm probably not going to need this. And then when I was working for NASA, they asked me to specialize in something so that I wouldn't be so limited as to my advancement in the company. So they said, can you specialize in materials and processes? So that pretty much set me up toward going toward process engineering.
Okay.
So it was really about, like, you know, we want you to be able to get that GS 14 rating or whatever it was, and you're not going to be able to get it unless you become a specialist in something.
Okay.
So I was an aerospace flight systems test engineer with a specialization in materials and processes. And then
sounds fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That was during the space shuttle. That was all during the space shuttle and stuff, and
tail end of Space Lab and International Space Station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so with International Space Station, I got to work with people from all over the world.
Yeah.
Like different space centers within the United States, Russian teams, Italian teams, German teams, Japanese teams. I got to work with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's awesome.
And then I had kids, and I thought that to be a good mom, I had to be home with my kids. So when I had my second son, I had to make a decision, you know, that was good for my family. And I thought, you know, my spouse at the time was working in Orlando. It was a long drive. And I just thought, you know, I think maybe I'm going to just go ahead and quit my job. So my dad tried to talk me out of it, but I wouldn't listen to him, so I quit my job
At NASA.
at NASA. And sometimes I regret that, especially like after yesterday watching the SpaceX video and seeing all that, you know, teamwork and celebration of the successful launch. You know, that always gives me goosebumps.
Right.
But shortly after what happened was I went on like a maternity leave.
Okay.
Which was just basically a long-term like leave without pay status.
Right.
And during that time, I was giving tours for NASA because they would ask for volunteers to be tour guides. And so the last tour I gave was actually Rick Husband, the commander of the Columbia mission that broke apart. Okay. Yeah, that tragedy. So his bus was my tour. His 50 guests were my tour.
Oh, wow.
And so that happened while I was on that extended leave without pay. So I knew going back was probably not an option, so I just resigned.
Okay.
And then I did the full-time mom thing for a while, for several years. And then once my children were both in school, I started tutoring. And I really enjoyed tutoring, but I was gone at night, and my kids were home at night.
Right.
And then my spouse took a severance package, and I went back to work for a consulting firm in Titusville that did a lot of work at the Space Center. And then I got a job with Sherwin-Williams, and that was a plant manufacturing facility. So I had never been in that kind of an environment before, and that's where it was like, you know,
the process is really,
yeah, we have to save money to our bottom line. That is your main goal.
Right.
Safety and saving money. And so that was a new and interesting experience for me, and that's where I got the Six Sigma certification.
Okay.
And my project was actually on one of their filling lines. So my goal was to save them like $25,000 in a year to their bottom line. I think I achieved like 45 or something like that.
Wow.
45,000.
That's good.
Yeah. But I did other projects that saved them like $300,000 a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
You know, after I learned what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah. So I think in the year after my certification, I saved them, I don't know, over $1 million that year.
That's
So that was rewarding.
okay.
I just couldn't see myself staying in paint for the rest of my life. So I started looking, and I just happened to get this job. I don't even really know how I got this job because
So you
I'd
came
never worked on a
from
theme park
Sherwin-Williams straight into the position you're in now?
no, in
No,
the engineering
you came into
department as a
engineering.
mechanical engineer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so how long have you been working here again?
Almost 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple years in engineering and a couple years here.
Okay. Cool. So what advice would, this is the last question, what advice would you give someone who is in my situation and going back to school and trying to go through the engineering? What advice would you give me as far as what I need to be on the lookout for, maybe what type of opportunities I should keep my eyes open for, as far as helping me to set myself up, like you were able to set yourself up with getting that scholarship or in that time at NASA before you even started college. So what maybe should I be looking for to be able to help me succeed and be able to put my name out there before I even finish school, or being able to have hands-on learning? I know yesterday we talked about an internship, working full-time. That's kind of hard to do. So are there any other suggestions you have as far as what I could do to help?
Yeah, it's definitely more challenging when you have a family, you know, when you're married with children. Definitely more challenging because you've got to keep that income coming in. But I would say even if you could get like a part-time internship or even just volunteer 2 hours, 2 hours a week working with somebody who's in the field that you want to go into.
Okay.
I think that once you graduate, that on your resume goes a long way to helping someone decide whether you have the real world viewpoint that they're looking for. Because we have interns here that are also in school, so they're not working, but well, some of them are working other jobs, but so they're basically here doing their internship, and it's just part-time. It's whatever hours they can manage.
Okay.
So I'm a big advocate of internships and job shadowing and networking that way. So even if you're not getting paid for it, if you can somehow job shadow and get to know people and,
Right.
you know, then those people introduce you to other people.
Mhm.
Just, you gotta, like, really kind of become a people person and get to know a lot of people in the industry that you want to go into.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I recommend. And internships really help you see not only what a job is really like, but whether you like it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you might think, I definitely want to do that. And you've been working, so you kind of have an
Right.
idea of
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah.
like. But you might think, I really want to do this, and then, you know, find out, there's this.
It's terrible.
There's a couple of major things about this that I really don't like.
Right.
Maybe I'll go in this direction.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And industrial engineers seem to make a lot of money because they're about saving the company money.
Right.
And companies always want to save money.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Gene, thanks for your time.
You're
I appreciate it.